All right, so today I want to talk about how not to give a fuck about things in general that are not in line with your end goal, your vision, your mission, obstacles that come in the way that need to be dealt with. That is true. But typically, the problems that arise are problems that are going to you have to solve or that you're going to ignore, in which case they're not problems. So, or other people's problems that are not really your concern or don't have an influence on your life. So the reason I want to bring this up today is because of the following. Sometimes you may feel like you're trying to control too many variables that are outside of your control. You want to manage everything, and the reason you want to manage everything is because it makes you feel good, because it makes you feel not like you're in control. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to establish control, but it makes you feel safe. It reduces anxiety. It may make you feel happy. It makes you feel like everything is handled, is integrated, and it makes sense, right? That definitely makes sense. What doesn't make sense is if you allow the outcome to affect your state of being, which means that you're trying to control things, and if everything is handled, then you feel good. If everything is not handled, then you feel terrible. Now you just have to mobilize different resources to able to obtain whatever short-term goal has manifested itself in front of you on the way to whatever it is that you're trying to achieve in the short term, in the intermediate term, in the long term, in the very long term. You're going to encounter these types of challenges and obstacles and issues that you're going to have to resolve. And that's absolutely true. Sometimes things present themselves there that don't really require your energy, which means if you put in extra energy into a situation that can be dealt with by using less energy, then really what you're doing is you're taking what's available to you and you're putting it in areas that don't require it. And when you do that, it's basically like an overflow. You have a limited amount of water that you can replenish every day or every hour, or however you replenish your energy, and you're trying to fill different cups. So remember, sometimes to a cup is only a certain size, and you pour your water, so you pour your energy into it, and once you reach the level at which that cup is full, you stop. But oftentimes when we pour too much energy or too much thought, and a good example is you're dealing with a situation that involves another person, and you spend too much time either thinking about it or typing up a response or coming up with an answer. This person is on your mind. What's happening is you, first of all, if you're thinking about something that doesn't directly correlate with you being able to solve it or working in that direction, then the energy is completely wasted. On the other hand, sometimes you could think about something in order for you to be able to come to a conclusion as far as what is the best way to solve this problem, and you can exercise different thoughts and discard the ones that are useful, that are useless, and then keep the ones that are useful, and then be able to use those when you have time to actually implement the solution. Now, when you're in the process of implementing a solution, if you put too much energy into that solution, more so than it's than that more so than required to actually solve that problem through the act of creating the solution, then basically what you're doing is you're taking the water that you have and you're pouring it into a cup, but you're filling it above the brim, which means that the cup would have been filled if you had just stopped at the line, but you just continue to pour. And so what's happening is nothing is being there's no added benefit to the cup, right? Benefit to the cup, right? There's no benefit to the solution that you're generating. And you're also wasting your own water. So what that means is that you really have to take a step back and think how much of this specific practice, as far as the analogy goes, how much of this are you actually doing on a daily basis? So it may be more than you think. It may be more than you think. You may be wasting a lot of time and wasting a lot of energy. And sometimes it comes from a good place. It comes from a place of care. Sometimes it comes from a place of insecurity. You want to manage other people's perceptions of you, and so you want to put more effort into it. Sometimes you just don't have any other problems to solve, so you figure if you have no other problems to solve, we're problem solving creatures, that you'll just put all your energy in that problem and then you'll solve it. So and so What's missing in that case is taking a step back and looking at the longer term vision. And the longer term vision is what you have generated internally as being important and as being a priority and as being meaningful. And sometimes the daily little activities are just not worth the effort that you put into them, because at the end of the day, they're going to take more out of you than they're going to give to you. And so you have to be able to exercise your discernment to find out specifically which ones are worth it, which ones are not. And sometimes it's not that binary. It's how much to put in each specific instance or circumstance. You have to know how much to put in, and then use the rest of your energy towards something productive. Uh, that's more productive and in association with the goal that you're trying to achieve, whatever that happens to be. It could be a short-term goal, it could be a long-term goal, but remember, the best thing that you can do is recognize in your own mind what is important and what is not. And so you have to ask yourself, how do I find what's important? That's the logical next question. How do I determine what's actually important? How do I determine what is the priority? Well, the way you determine what's important, what's a priority, is how much will it contribute towards the end? So do the means justify the end that you're trying to attain? What do I mean by that? Let's take an example for sales. You have a prospect and everything related to the part that you can control, as far as, you know, either your pitch or what you do and how you communicate, all of that you feel is handled before the actual meeting itself. The only thing that you would need is maybe some background on the specific prospect you're talking to. Once you obtain that background, there's nothing much else that you can do other than just go to the actual meeting itself and conduct the meeting. Then after the meeting, then you'll have more information, as far as, not after the meeting, but during the meeting, you're going to start to accumulate more and more information from this person, and then you can make decisions as to, you know, where they need to go. Are they qualified? Can you help them? Can you close them? Are they going to be in your pipeline? Should you disqualify them? Should you move them for a later date in the calendar? Then you have options. But remember, you can't exercise those options until you actually do the thing. So what that means is figure out what it is that you need to do in order for you to achieve the next thing that you're trying to get to, and try to parse out the information insofar as what's relevant, what's not relevant, what's a priority, what's not a priority, and maybe a scale of priorities as well. So what needs to be done first, what needs to be done second, what needs to be done third, and so on and so forth. And once you determine that, then you put in what's necessary, and then you kind of put that to the side, implement the solution, and then on to the next thing. Or if you're in the process, finish the process and then move on to the next. Right? Don't hang on to things. But the most important thing is for you to take the lesson from everything that you do. Try to extract the lesson and then move on. So you basically discard the circumstance, you discard the event, you extract the lesson, and you take that with you, you integrate it, and then you continue. And that's pretty much all you need to do. So I hope that was helpful. I know maybe that was a bit scattered. I am a little bit tired. It's been a pretty long week, I would say. Not in a bad way, in a good way. And yeah, I hope that was useful. So I'm gonna end it there, and then I'll catch you in the next video.